everyone, welcome back to my channel. So yes, it is back. I have finally brought this project back. It has been a long few months. I have been working hard behind the scenes to try to get my spreadsheet back in order. Anyway, yeah, it's been an ordeal, but I think I think I'm like 95% there. So I think I'm ready to come back with the Year's Usage Eyeshadow Project Pan. I didn't think I was going to bring this back, and I keep getting comments of you asking for this project to come back. So I was like frantically, this last weekend I was, trying to get through all of my my usage on eyeshadow palettes. So if you are not aware of this project, basically this is an eyeshadow project pan created by Sarah Catherine, and I attempted to do this a couple years ago, and then I decided to do it across the board of my whole collection because for the last 5.5 years I have been tracking my eyeshadow usage, and it was going great. It was going really well. I was able to tell you exactly the amount of times that I've gone into certain shades in palettes. However, at the start of this year, I saved over my file and I had no backup. I mean, I actually had a backup of it. I just didn't realize. I had no backup of it at all anywhere. And I asked them, a lot of you were really helping me. You were DMing me. You were like trying to give me all these tools to try to recover it. I did absolutely everything I could to try to recover it, and it just wasn't there. Then I went on my laptop, which I hadn't gone into since 2023, and I did have a version of it there. So I pulled that one and I have been very slowly, because we're in June now and this happened in January, very slowly getting that updated. I honestly thought about just like never doing it again because it was honestly devastating, but we're here. And this last weekend, I spent all weekend, every single evening after my son goes to bed and everything, usually I chill out, I watch something or I play a game or whatever. No, this last weekend, I was watching all of my videos, all of the get ready with me's, all of my shop my stashes, and I was just making sure that I was tracking what I used. And so it took a really long time. I had it on like 2x speed. I got very sick of watching myself over the years, but it also reminded me of how fun some videos I did. And obviously I've mentioned this before. So it did give me a sense of what palettes I have used. Now, I do have a comparison from where I am now to the last update that I did, which was back in September. It was September of last year, because I was doing this quarterly. So I was supposed to do one in January, and then that's when I lost everything. So, okay, so we never got a Q4 for 2025 on this project. We never got a Q1 for 2026 on this project. We're smack down in the middle of June right now, and I feel like I owe you a video on where I am with the Year's Usage Eyeshadow Project Pan. I have got them all ready to go. And so basically, if you don't understand what this project is, and I've just yapped on for like a few minutes here, what you're meant to do is, depending on the year it is, so it's 2026, you're meant to take 26, and that's how many uses you're supposed to have for an eyeshadow in every single palette that you own, unless you hit pan. Now, this is something that I've done differently now for you. Before, I was not following that rule. So I was like, even if I have a pan, I want 26 uses. What I've done now is I've updated my spreadsheet. I've done a percentage of how many times I've gone into the palettes. I've done an average overall of how much I've used this palette in accordance to using each shade 26 times. However, if I do have a pan in eyeshadow, then that counts for 100% complete, even if I haven't used it 26 times, because that is technically how the project should be and how Sarah Catherine set it out to be. I just wasn't following those rules. I'm gonna follow those rules now because I have like 150 pans in my collection. I don't want to discount them, even like some pans take me only 10 uses. I don't want to, force myself to use this use more times just to say I've completed it. So I'm actually following the rules, even though it seems like I'm cheating. So anyway, Looking back at where I was in September versus now, definitely some palettes have gone up. Some palettes were actually higher in September and they've gone down in terms of usage. That means I have not been able to recover the use that I had on that palette. So there are specific palettes where I'm gonna say, oh, I only have like 2% use on this palette, but actually technically back in September of last year, maybe I had 4%. So there are occasions of that, but it's pretty rare. So that's why I say I've sort of recovered, I would say 95% of my use, which I think is pretty good. Like I'm so happy about it. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get into it because well, like you just want to know the numbers. So what I did last time, before I get into it, sorry, I also for the last I think 5 or 10 palettes, like my top used palettes, I would put it on the screen and you could see my totals. I'm going to try to attempt to have you see my totals for every single palette. So we're going to try to do that. I'm going to like obviously show you the palette and then editing Gabby is going to hate me because it's going to take me forever to do this, but I'm going to try to do that too. So let's get into it. It's going to be a long video. Grab a drink, relax. If you're, I don't know, whatever you're doing, just take your time. So yeah, we're going to be here for a while. So in the bottom category, the 1%ers, I've only used 1% of the palette versus the rules. I've taken pictures of my spreadsheet because there's no way I'm going to remember all this. And I want to give you like facts, okay? All right, so my least used palette, I'm not including, I do have a palette that I received for Christmas that I still have not used, and I think I'm going to declutter it. And then I also just got a palette from PR actually, which hopefully I can do a video. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week, but that's exciting. Obviously, I'm not including those in this at all because I just haven't used them, so there's no point talking about it. But, all right. Number 1 in my 1%ers, this is the palette that, according to what I've done, I've used the least. And I know it's false, which kind of annoys me. It's going to be the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I got this back in September of last year for my birthday. So this one, it says I've used 1%, but the last time that I talked about this, I had used 3% of this palette. So I know that there's uses missing from this palette, and I know specifically why. I actually ended up using this palette not in a video, I think a couple of times, just in my own time, and obviously I didn't write it down. I would have put it in my spreadsheet, but I have no now record of it. It's not in a book because it was in a project. I just used it in my free time, and that's why I try to not do that because of situations like this. But this one I've used the least. According to my notes right now, it was technically at 3%, but we're going to start over, so it's at 1% now, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Another 1%er, which doesn't surprise me, is the Broken Jewels from DD Signature. I just got this for Christmas and I really only done one look. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this one is also in the 1%. I mean, obviously it's going to be, it's definitely a palette that I keep meaning to get back to, but you know what, I've just been busy. I've been doing other stuff. I have things going on. I will definitely get to this. I will definitely do some sort of 3 looks or 4 looks, 1 palette thing. But yeah, it's at 1% now, doesn't surprise me. Another one that is at 1% is the Titanium Fox's Dying Day. I just got this a month ago. So again, it does not surprise me. I've only done 1 look. So yeah, that is where that one is looking like too. Such a gorgeous palette. Again, I want to use this a lot more. I just have too much going on. Next up, we have the 2%ers. And also I'm doing this in order, right? So like the order that I show you within the different brackets is the order that I've used it the most or least, right? So the I Need a Nude from Natasha Denona is my least used palette according to my current spreadsheet in my whole category, whole inventory, which I know is a complete lie. It actually should be DD Secrets Broken Jewels because DD Signature Broken Jewels because I probably used slightly less shades than I did in the Titanium Foxes, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is actually specifically in order. So my least used palette in the 2% is the Silver and Cold from Divaroon Cosmetics, which again, it makes sense. I only got this a month ago and I've only used it once. And I did use it in a live with my channel members, but I do obviously have plans to use it in videos. I just haven't done that yet, so this one makes sense. Again, another new one is my 'Tis the Season from Cosmic Beauty. This one is currently in my No Pan Left Behind, so I will have more uses on it. I just have not added my uses so far for the month because I haven't done my update yet. So this one technically should be higher, but it's currently in the 2%ers. I'm sure it'll go maybe bump up to 3% by the time I'm done. But at the moment, that's where it is. Then this one is actually surprising to me. So it's not surprising that it's in the 2%. This is the Nude Prism for Lunar Beauty. It's surprising to me how high it was when I did this last video. Let me just get the numbers because this shocked me. So this is another one where I used it probably in my free time and I never wrote it down. So I currently at 2% right now. This one was at 5% before. So this one has gone down, which is frustrating. However, this one is also in my No Pan Left Behind. So I'm actually working on it right now. I'm getting the uses, but I definitely lost uses from losing my spreadsheet on this one. It doesn't bother me that much, but it's just something to make note of. Next up in the 2% is the Makeup Revolution, the Muse icon. This one, again, only used 2%. I think when I did this last, I had just got this palette, so it was in the 1%, so it hasn't really gone up very much. But this potentially, maybe I lost uses. I don't really know, actually. Probably not. I do like this palette. I haven't used it too much, so it's still pretty neglected. And then the last one in the 2%, I'm not surprised by it all, but it is the one that I've used the most in the 2%, which is shocking to me. It's the Blend Away from P. Louise. I made plans. I pulled this for my spring palettes I want to use, and I said, oh, I'm going to track my uses on it. Did I do that? No, I did not, because I only went into this, I think, once. I think I only went into it once in my free time. And it is a massive, huge palette, and it's just one of those things where, it's gonna take me forever to get an actual 100% on that if I ever do. The next one is the NARS Stargate. Yeah, Stargate palette. This one I've used 3% of the palette, and that is what it's looking like right now. This one I definitely lost use. I had shown that I had 6% use on it last time, and I only have 3%. So this is another one where I've kind of lost it, and I used it in my free time outside of a project, outside of a video, and unfortunately that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Another new one actually is in my 3%, the Lavender Fields from Simply Posh. So I've done 2 videos on this, so I've used quite a bit of shades, and that's why it's a little bit higher than my other new palettes. So I'm not surprised. Again, it's still pretty low, but obviously I've only had this for like a month, so I think that's pretty good. But yeah, those are my uses on that one so far. I think the reason that I think you guys love this project and I love it too, I love to see the changes, right? So this is at 3% now. What's it gonna look like in 6 months' time? Like, that's why I was devastated when my spreadsheet was like removed from my life. Because I like to see the progression. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing, but I think some of you like this project pan too. So I've had comments of like, when are you gonna do it? And it's here now. So, okay, next up, I'm just double checking. Okay, next up is my Skyfire from What's Up Beauty. They kindly sent this to me just recently, a little over a month ago. I do have an affiliate link with them, so if you want to go buy something from them, you can. But obviously this is brand new, so I haven't really used this too much. I've only done 2 looks with this one, so it makes sense. Okay, now we are in our 4%. We have another Makeup Revolution. This is the Eternal Icon. So this was at 3%, it's gone up to 4%. So this one's actually just, I've been able to, I guess, rediscover and find all the uses I had on this one. I did actually use it way more than I realized when I was looking back at videos. Another one that is at 4% is this little tiny quad here, which is also just been rolled into a project. So I will have more use on this one. This has been rolled in to my project level up on my level 1, which it's a pretty easy one for level 1. Although, to be fair, having said that, I actually haven't gone into it yet. So I kind of need to. But this one, yeah, is at 4%. So not a huge amount. But because it is a quad, and because I will hit pan in this at some point eventually, this one's gonna like jump right up, because depending on how many shades you have in the palette, it really massively influences the average total of your uses for that palette. So anyway, that one is there. Then I also have the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural in the 4%. I'm not surprised by this one. This is a palette that I really wanted because I missed out on the first one, and I still wish that I had got the original one back in the day because I think it was probably better than this one, but this is where we are right now, only 4% used, and it's just not a palette that I think wowed me overall. I really love the rich romantic palette from Glaminatrix, but I think this one was disappointing, so I don't know. It doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, so this next one is from Essence Circle of Life, and this one is another one where I basically lost my uses on it. This is what the palette looks like right now. It's at, obviously it's my most used 4%, but it was at 8% before. So I have definitely lost use on this one. It could be also, I didn't actually go through my shorts. So I know I use palettes in shorts that potentially weren't in projects, but you know what, I wanted to do this video, so you know, spare me. I know shorts are short, but once I went through all my videos, I was like, I can't watch myself anymore. It's bad enough having to film it, edit it, and now I'm watching it back like 2 years later. That's crazy. So that one I did lose usage on, but I'm not too fussed. It's not a very interesting palette for me. Okay, in the 5% we have Bella Beauty Bar Dark Dreamscape. I have done I think it was a 3 looks with this one. I also used it with my channel members a few times. This is a gorgeous palette. I just got it for Christmas, so it wasn't in the spreadsheet at all until this year. So those are definitely my full uses on this one, and it's already at 5%, so that's pretty neat. Another one, 5%, is the Gal on Venus from GlossGods. This one was also at 5% last time. I haven't lost any uses, and I also haven't, is it focused? I can't tell. I also haven't used it, so it hasn't actually changed since last time. Another one is the Call of the Sirens from Gourmand Girls. This one did change. Yeah, this one was at 8% used, and now it's at 5% used. So I did lose some use on this, which I'm not sure where that went, but this one has been rolled into a project. So I will hopefully have a pan in this quite soon, and then that will jump it up because that will suddenly put that at 100% used, which to me feels like cheating, but that's technically how this project goes. So I'm going with it. Then we have my Peach Pop from GlossGods. This one was at 6%, it's gone down to 5%. So I did lose at least a couple uses on some of these shades, but again, I'm not too fussed. This is what this one's looking like. And yeah, you can see none of these have pans. As soon as you get to the palettes that have pans, my percentage just starts jumping up. Next up, the last one in my 5% is the Gal on Mars from GlossGods. And this one is looking like this. I think this one lost product as well. Let me just double check. This was at 6% and now it's at 5%. So just a little bit of use I've lost. Okay, next up we're at my 6%. I've got the Makeup Revolution Astro Nova. This one, just double checking, it was at 6% and it's still at 6%. So this one hasn't really changed. I am working on this shade though, and I'm trying to hit pan in that one. So hopefully this will bump up actually, probably. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I actually used it quite a bit when I was looking at my videos. One that I'm pleased that's not at the bottom, it's still only at 6%, but it's my Midnight from obviously Beauty Bay. Because these are so absolutely enormous, it actually is quite nice that it's not way down at the bottom. This one, I also think, this one went up. So this one was at 4% and now it's at 6%. So this one went up too. I think it went up because I'm including now these pans to be completed. So this is where we're gonna start seeing a little bit of changes, even though maybe I didn't quite use this one. I do have 2 pans, so I do have quite a bit more like completed pans in this palette versus what I've showed you so far. We have my Mahogany Garden from Romand. Now this is a Franken palette. I have Odin's Eye in here. I also have one shade from BH Cosmetics. Now this one lost a lot of use because I can't find my Odin's Eye. Because I decluttered that palette, I can't find my uses on it at all. So all of the ones that I've depotted from Odin's Eye have basically have hardly any use on them. Coastline, which is the BH Cosmetics one, I've been able to, I think, find all my uses. That is a pan. that I actually hit pan on. It's a shade that I hit pan on a few years ago, but obviously now it doesn't count as a pan. So this one, it has massively gone down simply because it's got old shade. I'm just trying to find my spreadsheet. It's got old shades and it's changed. So let me just say, yeah, it's at 6%. It was at 13% before based on my uses on all those olden eye shades, but it's fine. I mean, we'll just include it as like a brand new palette as it is anyway, so it's fine. Then we have the Green Pop from GlossGods. This is also at 6%. Which doesn't surprise me. I do like this one a little bit better, actually quite a bit better than the peach one. So I have gone into it a little bit more. And then I have the Gal on the Moon, which did go down. This one was at 8% and now it's at 6%. So I did use a couple of uses on this one, but I'm not entirely sure where they come from. Okay, and then I only have one in the 7%. It is my Gal on Jupiter from GlossGods. This one was at 10%, so I've lost some use on this one too, which is pretty sad because I love this palette. But anyway, those are the uses that I've been able to find again. And yeah, like this is just like one of my favorite GlossGods, but it has no pans in it, so it's kind of crazy. All right, moving on to my 8%, I have the Aurora Struck. This is my version of the Aurora Struck because I did depot a lot of Colourpop shades and I put a lot of single Colourpop shades that I had. So this one is at 8% and it was at 8% before, so it hasn't changed, it has stayed the same. All right, then we have Avatar Air. This one's gone up. This was at 6% and then now it is 8%. So this one I'm pretty pleased with. It's gone up just naturally. It's not super high. It is my least used Avatar palette from Lethal, but I do like it. It's not my least favorite. It's just, I just barely use that one. Then I have my Desert Monsoon from What's It Beauty. This one was at 4% and now it's bumped up to 8%, which is pretty cool. I'm also trying to work on a pan, so this should get a lot more use and bump up pretty soon as well. We have my Neutrals from Cosmic Beauty. This was at 5% and now it's at 8%. So I love when I see them go up and like, so, oh, that's so exciting. So anyway, this is what this one looks like. I do have a pan, but otherwise I have obviously gone into it a little bit more. And I'm getting a little bit closer, but not very much. I mean, you can see my uses on these are nowhere near 26 uses. The newer the palette, the likelihood is I'm not going to have uses that are that high, or if they haven't been rolled into like my project level up or pan that palette, those are really ones that are like the highest. But anyway, I don't want to do spoilers yet. Okay, moving on, I have 3 palettes in my 9%. We have this one from Makeup Revolution. It's the Enchanted Icon. This was at 0% and now it's at 9%. So that's pretty cool. This is what this one looks like. No pans, but I have obviously used the shades quite a bit more than the other Icon palettes. I really do like that one. I also have my Hocus Pocus 2, the All Hallows Eve palette from Colourpop here. This one was at 9%. So actually I haven't really lost any use on this one, which is pretty cool. I also have a pan, so I haven't been able to complete that one. I mean, I need more use on everything else to get to 26. And then this one makes me sad. This is the last one in my 9%. This was at 18%, it's at 9% now. I've lost a lot of use of my Killer Purr. I don't know where it all went. I couldn't find them in videos, but I had a lot more use apparently, according to myself, and now it is just not there. So that is a shame. I do have a pan, but it's still low at 9%. And yeah, the Feral, which I feel like was my least used out of the two, is now actually my most used according to all these notes. So you have to take a little bit with a pinch of salt, but like I said, it's like 90–95% accurate, this. The Feral is the next one. This was at 11%, it's gone down to 10%. So this one lost just a tiny bit more use, but not nearly as much as the Killer Purr, and that's what that one is looking like now. Again, I also have a pan in this one. And yeah, I do really like the quality of those. And then last one in my 10% is the Moon Shroom. I think this one went up. Yeah, this one was at 7% and now it's at 10%. So that's pretty cool. It is also because I do have a pan now and I'm including that as like a completed shade. So that's definitely helped out with my uses overall on this palette. All right, I have quite a lot in the 11%. I don't know why, but I just do. So my least used in my 11% is the Delicious Delights from Cosmic Beauty. This one was at 10%, now it's at 11. I'm shocked. I thought this would be higher. I feel like I'm always going into this palette, but it is only at 11% used. So that's where we are right now. I do have a pan in the white matte, but other than that, yeah, no other pans in this one. I love this palette. I feel like, yeah, I go into it all the time, but it doesn't, like one little use in one shade, I guess, doesn't really go anywhere with that one. Then we have my Geos from What's a Beauty. This one was at 10% and now it's at 11%. So this one has gone up slightly, but again, I don't feel like I've used it too much. So it might just be because of the pan, it's just made a difference. And then we have my Usage Beauty Galactic Visitor. Also, this one's gone up. It was at 9% and now it's at 11%, which definitely makes sense. I'm still working on this in project right now. I'm currently trying to hit pan in this one, so I'm getting slowly more use in these shades. I know this is a palette that I also use potentially in a few shorts where I haven't tracked that, but regardless, it's still gone up. So my Dangerous Love from Makeup Revolution's also gone up. This was at 9% and now we're at 11%. This one is another one where I have a pan. So yeah, I'm excited to see some of these go up. My Muesli Noah from Glam Shop, this one's also gone up. It was at 7% and now we are at 11%. So that makes me very, very happy too. And then the most used in my 11% is the Lovers from Cosmic Beauty. This one was at 5% before, and now we are at 11%. So I definitely have been using this one quite a bit more. I still don't have a pan. I tried to hit pan in this one, I failed. I'm currently trying to hit pan in this one. Who knows if I will fail, but it definitely is a palette that I guess I've been using. Obviously, I'm not counting this black that I have removed. That's just not in my spreadsheet whatsoever, so it's not included at all. But yeah, that one is there. All right, and then I have two in my 12%. I have the gold selection from Makeup Factory. This one was at 11%. It's just gone up a little bit. I do have a cheeky little pan. One of you asked about Makeup Factory. Let me know if you want me to try to do like a full face or try to like almost like a full face of Makeup Factory. It's definitely a brand that I haven't explored fully, but what I have tried are their lip products, highlighter, and also eyeshadow, and I have no complaints about anything. So if you want to see like a full face of Makeup Factory, let me know. I would say it's definitely more, I don't think you can get it in the US, it's more like EU thing, but let me know, because I was looking and I was browsing just last night and I was like, that looks nice. Oh, that looks nice. But you know, I don't want to go buy a bunch of stuff just to buy it, you know? Okay, and then the last one in my 12% is the Sorbetti. Are we in 12%? Yeah, I think so, right? This one has gone up. This was at 7%. It's now at 12%, which is pretty cool. I always like to see that. I do have a pan, so I ended up getting quite a bit more use on that shade, obviously, to hit pan. But yeah, that is very cool that that one has gone up. Back is itchy. You know when your back is itchy and you can't reach it? So it's like, oh, you gotta like contort. Oh. Okay, next up we have an old palette. This is my BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast. This one did fall down. So this was at 18% used and we're at 13 right now. So this one I did lose some use on. It's not too bad. It is a palette that I decluttered and then I brought back. I haven't really used it much since I brought it back, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it. But yeah, this one is my least used in my 13%. Then we have my new neutrals from GlossGods. This one did go up. This was at 4% use and now it's at 13% use, which is pretty nice, but again, I think that pan is helping. What I did do the other day, I mean, this one's been messy for a while now, but all these palettes, not just GlossGods, I think I have one or two more from a different brand, I can't remember. I was trying to clean them because I know I was doing this video, I was trying to like make them look nice, and then I just made it look worse. I think it's actually a palette that's gonna come up. I made it look way worse and dirtier. So, you know, that happens. You know, I'm trying to be good, I'm trying to show you some clean palettes, and then I just made a mess. So I will point it out when I see it. I think it's somewhere in front of me. I can't remember which one it is. So Anyway, that one, yeah, that one bumped up, which I'm really pleased about. Okay, next up in my 13% is the Peach Perfect from Gourmand Girls. This one was at 13% and it's still at 13%. So this one hasn't changed, which I'm pretty pleased about. And yeah, this one, it is what it is. It's a nice palette. I don't go into it all the time. When I go into it, it's like for 1 or 2 shades, but it's not a palette that I find myself going into and like doing a completed look. I think it's always just been a companion palette, even though I love peach, maybe just not that type of peachy palette. I don't know. All right, then we have my Rich Romantic from Glaminatrix. This one was at 12%, it's at 13% now. So it's gone up slightly. I do have a pan, which probably helped. But yeah, I do really love this palette. And then we have my Vintage Glam. Oh, I think this is the one that I made really dirty. Yeah, this is the one that I made really dirty. My Vintage Glam from GlossGods. This was at 15% and it's down to 13%. You can see. You see all this purple everywhere? I made a mess. I was trying to clean it. But anyway, that's where that one looks like. So I did lose some use on some of these shades. I'm not entirely sure which ones. I mean, it is an old palette and it could have just been any time when I used this and I didn't track it, which does happen or has happened in the past. So it is what it is. It's still not at the bottom, obviously, but it's not as high as it could have been. Okay, then I have 2 in the 14%. I have my Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. This one's gone up slightly. It was at 13 and now it's at 14. So I have actually been using this kind of on and off a little bit just for some random shades, and I do have that pan, so maybe that pan helped go up. And then I also have my Serenity from Cosmic Beauty in this category too. This one was at 12% and now it's at 14%. This is another palette where I feel like I have used it so much. I have done lots of videos. I even did like a members video where I did like 5 looks with this sometime last year, and I still only have it at 14%. It's because I don't have the pans. I have no pans in here. I was working on this one to try to hit pan on and I never did, and I just don't have. Oh, I do actually. I'm a total liar. I do. Hold on, that was a spoiler. Never mind, let's move on. Move on. You didn't see that. Nobody saw that, right? Nobody saw, okay. Nobody saw it. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, that one is where that one is. Okay, and then I have one that's at 15%. It is my Colourpop Foolish Mortals. I keep looking down because the rest of these are pretty much all different. They're all in different categories and some of them have gone up or down, so it's kind of interesting. So I just want to like make sure I say the right thing. This was at 10%. It's now obviously at 15%, which is pretty cool. I do have obviously a pan. Is it focused? I don't even know if it's focused. There you go, it's focused. Have I been out of focus the whole time? I hope not, because that would just be really upsetting. Anyway, that's where that one is at 15%. It's gone up. Oh no, here it is. I was looking at the wrong pile. I have piles in front of me. Okay, so then we have the Muse from Cosmic Beauty. This is at 17% and it was at 9%. So this one has definitely changed, and I'm hoping that I haven't messed up the focus now, but this is what this one is looking like. Again, I have a pan, I have 2 pans actually, and I'm working on a 3rd pan in this one. So I'm continuously adding uses to this palette. So this one's going to keep going up until I hit that pan, and then it will be 100% complete, which is pretty cool. Then we have Glam Shop Niso Zirko. That's how I say it. This was at 6%. Now it is at 18%. Oh no, this is the one where I made a mess. I told you there was a bunch where I made a mess. This one looks absolutely messy because it's cardboard. And as soon, like I was trying to be, you know, I was being smart. I was taking a flat surface and wrapping a wet wipe so I wouldn't touch the actual shade. I would just touch the outside, but I guess it didn't work out for me. So anyway, this one is, what did I say this one's at? This one's at 18%. It was at 6% though, so this one has bumped up a lot. I've got a lot more use on that one, which is pretty cool. And then we have this one, another Glam Shop, the Nougat one. This one was at 15% and now it is at 18%. And I do have 2 No, you're not hitting. There you go. There's the tracker. I have 2 pans in here too, so that probably helped with that as well. Okay, now we're on to my Beauty Bay Earthy, and this one is at 19%. I actually have 3 palettes that are at 19%. This was at 12%, so this one definitely has changed and been going up. It was in my Pan That palette in order, and I struggled through that, and I didn't really get very far. But I did end up also hitting pan in this shade not too long ago, so it's gotten a little bit more use, and also lime as well. So I've gotten more pans in here than expected, quite honestly. And yeah, it's been a fun palette to sort of work on very slowly because it has 42 shades. It really kind of belongs in the 1-2% use, really. But because I have the pans, it's definitely helped me. Then we have GlossGods Molten Metals. This one was at 6% and now it is at 19%, which is pretty cool. A lot of that use would be from this shade where I did obviously hit pan. And then I have my What's a Beauty Dragon's Eye. This one was at 15%, but now it is at 19%. So again, another cool one. I only have 1 pan in here though, so I have just quite a lot of use on this palette, but not very many pans. Then I have 1 palette at 20%. This one is my Let's Get Nude from GlossGods. It was at 6%. So this one has changed quite a bit too, which I'm pleased about. I have quite a few pans in here and, well actually just 2 pans, but still, I am pleased that this one has gone up. It's always nice when they go up and it makes sense. It's just nice. I have my Avatar Water palette. This is obviously Lethal Cosmetics, and I just had it in view, and now oh yeah, this was at 8% and now it's 22, which is pretty cool. So I have quite a bit more uses on this one. Obviously I have the pan as well. Now this one is higher up than some other like big palettes where I have multiple pans because it only is a 9 pan palette. I have to bear that in mind. So it's the average of 9 shades and my uses, and if I've completed one, you know, it just bumps it quite a bit higher. So definitely the results are skewed in that sense because not all palettes are created equally. They are all different sizes. So you'll see like smaller palettes are actually averaging a little bit higher than some other palettes where, you know, I might have used them a little bit more and I actually have more uses on certain shades, but there's just too many shades that it pulls it down, if that makes sense. Okay, then I have my NARS Afterglow. This was at 19%, it's at 24 now, which is pretty cool. So I didn't think it would actually be that high. I felt 19% was pretty high, but yeah, 24 is even higher. I did just use this for my palette takeover. It kind of is in the chopping block section of my palettes, and I'm kind of a little bit wary about what to do with that one because it was very disappointing that week to use those shades. Another palette I have in the 24% is my ABH Nouveau. Now this one did actually go up. So this was at 20% and now it's at 24. I do have 2 pans in here now as well because I recently hit pan. Yeah, it was Liberty, this one right here. So this one has changed slightly, which makes me happy. I have one at 26, which is my Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. Obviously, this is my Pan That palette in order. I do hope to have this one bump up even more as time goes on because I am actually working on this one. So yeah, this one is at 26%. It wasn't 29%. So I have actually lost use on this palette. I'm not entirely sure where, but I've had this palette for so long, it could have been any time. And so yeah, that's what that palette looks like now. So definitely want to get back to where I was and then even further on that palette. And then moving on, I have the Artemis from Ultra Ego. This is at 27% used and it was at 25%. So this one's gone up slightly too. I have some pans and it's pretty cool that I get to see all these big palettes go up. That makes me happy. And again, is it not in focus? No, it's not. There you go. What did my camera think it was focusing on just then? What was the point of that? Anyway, okay. But you never know. Okay, anyway, moving on. We have another ABH. This is the Jackie Aina. Hold on, I've lost my spreadsheet. So this one is at 28%. It was at 21%. So this one's gone up and I'm very pleased with that. I actually, when I was double checking my spreadsheet, for some reason I didn't even have that as a pan, so I kind of freaked out. So I think I lost some use on this because I don't remember when I hit pan in that one. So yeah, because my spreadsheet like as of like just 2 days ago, did not have a pan in that shade, and I clearly do. So, and I know I didn't do that recently. So anyway, that one has gone up even though I know I've lost some use on it. It's one of my oldest palettes, so it makes sense. Okay, and then my Dancing in the Sky, I'm very pleased with this one. This one was at 8%. It's now at 29%. 29, yeah, 29%. Very, very pleased. This is from GlossGods. And it's because obviously I have pans in there, but I also just recently did No Pan Left Behind. And then one of the shades ended up in my Pan There's eyeshadow as well. So I just got a bunch of more use on it recently, which makes me very happy because I think it's one of the best GlossGods that they've come out with. So yeah, this one, very, very pleased with this one. I have one more palette at 29. It is the Natasha Denona Retro. I have some pans in here, so that's definitely helped it. This was at 24%, but now, yeah, it's gone up. So we're at 29% now, which makes me very, very happy. So there we are. I was trying to hit pan in this shade and I never did, but I have quite a lot of use on that pan as well. Yeah, it makes me so, so happy. And then we have a bigger palette here. This is the Sample Beauty Equalizer Volume 2 palette. I have 35% use on this palette, which I think is pretty cool. It was at 26%. So the reason it's gone up is because obviously the way that I'm counting the pans is different. Because it is such a big palette, it's quite a bit hard to track it. But anyway, yeah, that is my use on them. Some of them have pretty nice uses on. And then I also was, I think it was in a project level up at some point, so I got some use on it that way as well. So anytime a palette is rolled into project level up, I always say you really get to know your palette very well, and but unless it's like level 1 where it's just a No Pan Left Behind, but I think when you start using the shades multiple times, you really kind of understand it. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, wait, hold on. Next up, oh wait, no, this is the right one. Never mind. I have the Lethal Cosmetics Avatar Fire. The way that I've done this, it's all color coordinated. I thought that would make it easier, but actually it's made it so much more complicated. Okay, so anyway, next up is the Avatar Fire from Lethal. I have 42% use on this palette, which is crazy, but it's because it's a 9-pan palette. Before, I had 16% use. I also have 2 pans in here too, so that's definitely helped. So that means like basically 2 shades in a 9-pan palette are completed. So that's why it's like bumped up. And then of course I have use on a lot of these shades as well. So that's where that one's looking like. I do really like this palette though. I mean, I like all of the Avatar palettes. There's not one that I don't like. I think they were all amazing. Obviously there's one I prefer, but they're all very good. Oops. Sorry. And then I have this one from MAC. This is the Star Sighting palette in the shade Fuchsia. And this is at 40, oh, I think the Avatar was 42. Did I say 46? The Avatar was at 42% complete. This is at 46%. It was at 41%. So the only reason it's changed is because of the way that I'm tracking the pans. And also it's only a 6-pan palette. So of course it would be high up because there's not many more I could do on that one. So that one is there. And then I have the Flower Moon, which is my Pan That palette for the year. This one's at 47%. And it was at 6%. So you can see like I had massively neglected that palette, only at 6%. And since I rolled it into my Pan That palette for the year, so honestly since January it's bumped up. What's going on? This is like annoying me. A bunch of you complimented my hair the other day and it's been very, very nice. Thank you so much. It is looking healthier and better, but it also is kind of annoying. Anyway, this is what this one's looking like. I just shared that update, so I don't mind sharing it with you right now. Obviously, I'm getting a lot more pans in this, which is really helping with the percentage-wise. And yeah, this one, halfway through the year, this is where it's going. So I think by the end of the year, it'll definitely be up there in terms of a very well-used palette. Okay, moving on, we have the Canyon from Alter Ego. This one, I've lost it. Oh, there it is again. This one's at 48% and it was at 39%. So this one looks like this. And I have some pans. This was my project level up, level 5, I believe. Yeah, I have 5 pans. So I did get quite a lot of use on certain shades and that definitely helped. Okay, then I have the color Rain from GlossGods. This is currently in my project level up. This is at 55% used. I only had 9% used. last time I did this video. Tell you what, Project Level Up. It's scary, but it really helps you. This is where this palette, obviously when I rolled it in, I had no pans. Now I have a bunch of pans and I just have some use left. I've hit all the pans that I need for my Project Level Up. So yeah, it's just, I just need a little bit more use on that palette and then I'm rolling it out. So that one got tons of use. And then I also have another GlossGods right at the top. This is the Look for Rainbows. This is at 56% used and it was at 20%. So this one's bumped up a lot as well. This was rolled into my pan, that palette, in order at some point last year. So I did get quite a lot of pans in it last year, which is very, very helpful, obviously for this tracking and just to play around and get way more use on this palette overall, which has always been a palette that I've loved, but just didn't really end up using all that much. So now I actually have proof that I have used it a lot. Okay, and then at 57%, it is the ABH Norvina. This is a very old palette of mine, and I had it at 45% before, and it's gone way up because of the way I'm tracking pans now. So that's really the only difference. There's quite a lot of pans in here, and it's helped me complete a lot of these shades, whereas I might not have used them 26 times, but because I have a pan, that's how it works. Okay, then I have one at 58%. It is my What's Your Power from GlossGods. This one's been in multiple projects, so I'm not surprised. This was at 35%, but I have a lot of pans in here. Like I've said, I've used it quite a bit. There's certain shades where I've used a lot more than others and some that I've barely used. But I just recently had this in my palette takeover. I had a lot of fun during that week using it as well. And yeah, I kind of love this palette. It's just so underrated. It was also limited edition. Why are limited edition palettes always so good and fun? Makes no sense. Okay, then we have the Club Nebula from Kaleidos. This is at 59% and it was at 41. So this one, again, I have quite a lot of use. It's been in my Project Level Up. I did use it at some point in my palette takeover week. And yeah, I think it bumped up because of the pans as well. So that's where that one is. All right, so I'm in my top 4 now. My top 4 palettes. They're not going to really be a surprise to anyone if you are familiar with my channel. But my, in 4th place overall, I've used this 62%. I've used 62% of the palette. It was at 43%. It is the Lethal Avatar Air palette. So I love this palette already. Then it was rolled into Pan Those Eyeshadows. Then it was rolled into Project Level Up. And I just have never gone back. I just love this palette so much. So this one has a bunch of pans. Again, it's only a 9-pan palette. So that's why it's so high up. And also I have a decent amount of use on these shades where I get to say I've used 62%. According to the rules of this project, I've completed 62% of this palette. Okay, it's pretty cool, right? Anyway, moving on. In 3rd place is my Shadow Kiss from Alter Ego. This was my Pan That palette from last year. I thought it was going to be number 1, so I'm surprised. I'm at 65% use on this, and this I did actually lose a little bit. It did show 66% last time. I haven't actually really used it since I stopped using it for my Pan That palette, so I'm not entirely sure why. Anyway, this is what this one is looking like, and obviously you can see all those juicy numbers again. I had some shades where I used over 100 times. Yeah, this one I used a lot, but I just didn't, I guess, end up having as many pans in this palette as maybe some other palettes where that could have bumped it up even higher, potentially. Okay, in 2nd place is my Naughty Nude from Huda Beauty. This one I have 70% use on, and it was at 60% before. So this one has bumped up quite a bit because of the pan rule that I've done. I don't really think I've used it all that much more, but I think overall there's just a lot more use on this one. How is that even possible? Do I have more pans in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I do have I do have the same amount of pans in each of them. So it's not because of the pans, I just used the Huda Beauty more. It is a palette that I had used in previous times before I rolled it in as my Pan That palette. So I don't know, maybe I had just a lot more use on it before that. I don't know, the Shadow Kiss is like making me question things because it really shouldn't have gone down, but whatever, it's gone down. Okay, moving on. The final palette that I have to share that I have used the most in my collection is the Urban Decay Stone Vibes. This was another pan palette for me that I had 3 years ago now. This is at 94% complete. According to my notes. It wasn't 75% complete, but because of the pan rule change, it's gone all the way up because I have pan in every single shade aside from this blue one. So if I hit pan in that blue, it would honestly be 100% complete according to these rules. So that's kind of fun, right? I think that's kind of fun. Anyway, that is everything for you today. I know this has been a long video. I will try to edit it as much as possible, but you know, I talk and I yap and it's been long anticipated for me to film this, for me to get back to this, and I know some of you have been wanting to like see an update on this. So hopefully you enjoy the video and you know, you take some of these numbers with a pinch of salt because they're not going to be 100% accurate. I know some things look a little iffy. I've done the best I can to try to rediscover and find where I lost usage on pretty much all of my palettes over the last 2 years. And so yeah, it's been quite an ordeal. And the last 6, I've been working on it the last 5.5 months, right? Like, I mean, we're middle of June, so yeah, it's been a long time coming. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I think what I'll do, I was trying to do these quarterly. Since I've done it in like bam stank in the middle of June, maybe I will do these. I mean, I guess I could do it in a quarter. Maybe I could try to do it quarterly, even though we're not at the end of the quarter yet, but I could try to do these quarterly. Let's try to aim for that. And my spreadsheet is a Google Doc now, so I'm hoping that, you know, I shouldn't lose access to it, right? Because it's connected to my email. So there's no way that I really should lose the progress that I've made, right? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.